Good morning and welcome to episode 11 of Get Set to Thrive podcast. And joining Shreyas and I today, hopefully, will be Rob Sharkey. We are working with some technical issues, so hopefully we can get them figured out.
Hello, everyone. I'm Shreyas, and you're watching Get Set to Thrive podcast, our very first live episode. And it's a bummer that Rob is facing some technical issues. So, in the meantime, we will be talking about how we planned the podcast and what was some of our major motivations. And hopefully, we'll have Rob to share his wisdom with us very soon. So, in the meantime, Michelle, I'd just like to ask how did you get the idea to start a podcast, and what was your major motivation to start a podcast exclusively for coaching?
Well, I think that I've always wanted to, I like talking in front of people, let's be honest. I do. So a podcast is a great way to do that, and it also helps hone your communication skills. But really, I think the credit needs to go to you, Shreyas, because I believe it was actually your idea for us to do a podcast about coaching. Am I correct?
I frankly do not remember. I just know that it was a collective effort that we both resonated with. And I really do not know how we started because we were literally not having a clue as to how podcasts were conducted. We just had one brainstorming session where we went through different blogs on podcast, and all of a sudden the idea clicked. And the name in itself, it's the combination of both our ventures. Get Set Rise gave rise to Get Set, and yours is Cultivate and Thrive, which gave rise to Thrive. And it's just magical after that. I really do not know or remember how it started. And yeah, it's been surreal, but it's been definitely rewarding as well. What do you
Okay.
feel about that?
Well, I'm going to interrupt our lovely chat and let everyone know that, yay, God is good. Rob is here. He's waiting.
Fantastic.
So I'm very excited to get him in. I would like people who are showing up on either Facebook or LinkedIn Live to please drop where you're from, where you're joining us from, and questions, comments, and shares are appreciated. So let's welcome Rob Sharkey.
Hi, how are you guys?
Hello.
Can you hear me good?
Yes.
You're good, loud and clear.
I had to switch from my office because for some reason I was unable to connect. So I apologize for the time delay. I know you guys are very busy, and so you get to see pictures of my mom and family and my bicycle. But hey, you know what? It's what life's all about, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
We
the
get a little.
important thing is, you just made it to the show, and we are really glad to have you with us.
I'm so glad to finally meet you guys. This has been going on for a long time, and we should have done a Zoom meeting a long time ago. So.
Yes. I love the fact that you said your family's in the background and your bike, so we get a little bit of sneak peek into the background of Rob Sharkey.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's funny because you see when somebody's on a Zoom, you get to see all their life that goes on around them. Kids, dogs. It's always kind of nice. I'm actually glad this whole thing happened. That way, people are being real now.
Yes. So I think maybe we want to know a little bit about Rob.
Well, I'll give you a kind of a quick block of who I am. I grew up in a military family. I had a very, very hard childhood. Did not do well in high school at all. Got out of high school, tried to create life on my own, realized that I seriously needed some education. So I went back, and not to brag, I ended up with about 4 different degrees and tried anything from civil engineering to I got into some different businesses, and then started my own businesses, and figured out that I was pretty good at building businesses and bring them to the point of being able to sell them. About 3 or 4 years ago, I got into acquisitions. A friend of mine owns a pretty large acquisition company. And unfortunately, it is taking apart businesses that are failing. And I started seeing that there was a huge gap between having a business that was failing and having someone that can help them with their business. So I had created all these small businesses. So I started working with a lot of people, just helping them on the side. It grew into a big business. Kelly Sharkey and myself then created business coaching that we started helping a lot of people with. COVID happened. I ended up back in my house. I've always been face-to-face type salesperson and type coach. So I used to be able to see someone's entire body, so I could tell if they're listening to everything I had to say, or if they were absorbing things that my points I was trying to get across. And so when we came into COVID, I ended up on a screen, and I only see people from here up. So I had to reinvent the wheel, because I've always been, my background's, a lot of it's forensics. I don't want to get too deep into that, but I really study forensics a lot, body language, all the way into recovering evidence, working with police departments, all that. Anyways, long story short is part of it is learning about people's mannerisms and all that. So from here up, I pay attention to mannerisms, your eye movements, how your voice goes up and down. And so anyways, we ended up, Kelly Sharkey went one side and I went one side. She helps more women than myself. And I know you guys were talking about having her on. But I found that a lot of what I did was connected to life coaching. Then I found this LinkedIn, which I really didn't do anything much online. As you can see, I'm late to this because I don't know computers that well. I do know people's mind pretty well. And so here I am today. And now I do a lot of, I have 2 people that are finishing up in becoming life coaches. And I now teach more life coaching than I do really working with people with life coaching, but I still will do either one. And then now we've just created, it took about 6 months and a lot of work, a lot of money, a lot of tearing apart the way associations work. And we created Core Mentors Association to bring people around the world together into one place that actually are out to help people. There's literally millions and millions of coaches, as you guys well know. The world is saturated with them right now. And we're really wanting to bring people together that can help people, and in a way that it isn't just relying on the money issue. I know that's important, but we're really trying to bring people together that want to help people and have the skills that they can bring on to other people, to bring them to a spot of being at peace with themselves. So that was kind of a long, it was shorter, but a bit longer. Yeah. Anyway. So I have a question for you guys. You guys are doing amazing, and I know this is your show, but I'm always a person that likes to put other people first, and you guys knew I was going to do this probably. But you guys are amazing coaches, and what you're doing with your shows and helping people in LinkedIn, it is making a huge impact. There's so many people that don't comment, don't like, that sit outside. I would say most of my clients are people who have never liked or commented on my post, but have watched me from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to let you guys know it's huge what you guys are doing. So
Well, thank you very much. So
yes, given your life experiences, it's no wonder that you've started this beautiful life coaching mentoring association called the Core Mentors Association. So what was your biggest motivation to start a venture to mentor coaches? Or is it a program where you bring in people who have the skills that can make them a good coach, and you mentor them to be coaches? How does it work?
Yeah, how it works, being in the forensic side, I saw that there was a lot of need for people that, okay, everyone has a valley, right? Everyone has the best thing that's happened in their life and the worst thing that's happened in their life. And in that valley of life, you have all kinds of notches up and down that valley. And that valley can connect with other people's emotions, other people's businesses, other people's problems in their lives. And so mainly, one of the main things I try to teach people first and foremost is that no matter who you are, after the age of 5, all of that knowledge that you're building until whatever age you are now, if you have the capability of helping people, you can. I've met 10-year-old kids that have more, I don't want to say scruples about life, but more knowledge about life. And they're able to fit in to slots that people are looking for in their lives at 70 years old, because they've caught on to that part of their life that's so important. The valley that I use, if you have a business, let's say you have a business and you have somebody come to you that has a business problem. Even if you don't have knowledge of their businesses all run the same. I'm going to get so many bad comments about this, but businesses all run the same. You have leadership. If you have employees, you're over those employees. Great leadership runs those employees or works with those employees to be a great team. So if you look at your valley in life, it's the same thing. You have millions of hats that you've created over the years. Those hats can fit somebody's problem, and you mesh those together. And when those two come together, you're able to be on that level to be able to have the discussion with the person about their problem or their business. So it all intertwines. All of it's the same. Again, I'm probably going to have people say, no, it's not the same, but it is. What you just did right now, where you take a breath, my breath and your breath is all exactly the same. We just took the same breath. Our moment in time all was experienced by everyone across the board. So in that time, we all grabbed an experience. No matter what it is, you grab that experience. That experience came with a failure or came with an achievement, and that can be switched over to someone else's failure or achievement to be able to connect with them. Does that make sense? So that's what I work off. I've been called a ground floor mentor. A couple of the people that I've been working with over the years call me a ground floor mentor, because I don't care about your cars. I don't care about your house. I don't care about you. Honestly, when it comes down to it, your family, as much as important as they are, doesn't matter when it comes to you. You have to know you, and then that way you can connect with someone else. Your family, your friends, your cars, your houses, all that stuff. And not when I say stuff, I don't mean family as stuff, but those things have all got to be separate from where your heart can connect with someone else's. So.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100% on that, Rob. I think you know that. But so what do you find to be probably the biggest hurdle for coaches or coaches and clients in a coaching engagement?
I would say probably the biggest thing is when someone comes to you, and I just love some of the people you guys know on LinkedIn. I absolutely, they're family to me. You guys are two of them. There's a lot of coaches that I come across. The ones that I'm working with, they try to connect money to coaching, and it can't be together. It has to be a separate entity. Coaching is the biggest problem I see is when someone tries to start working their packages into someone or their hourly rate. I'm very blunt. I come out, I say, hey, I'm X amount of dollars. This is how much it costs. After I talk to them, after I see if I'm a good fit. And a lot of coaches don't, and I shouldn't say a lot of coaches, there are coaches that don't try to get the fit first. They try to think of, I got to sell this person on the package or my hourly rate. But I'm very blunt. If someone asks me, what, how much it is and all that, I'll tell them straight off. I'll say, this is how much I am. But the only way that I'm going to work with you is if we're a good fit. If we're not a good fit, I can't work with you. And the fit means that you have to be able to listen to me. I have to be able to listen to you. And if we can't do that halfway through this and you decide to not listen to what I'm actually trying to teach you, then I have to let you go. And it's that. And unfortunately, that's the way a lot of coaches, some coaches look at things is they try to get the package, they try to, get those hourly rates going in someone's head, that we're going to need 6 weeks, hourly rates are this much for the 6 weeks. I think that the biggest failure is that a person doesn't connect with the person first, whether they're a coach or not. Even a conversation, you want to connect with that person. It's important. So kind of a long answer again.
Yeah, I actually find the same issue too, because some of, actually, I don't say peers, but when I engage with a different set of coaches, there are some who place great emphasis on their rates rather than have a discovery call where they find the mental state of your client. Because as coaches, we do not really engage with clients who have dysfunctional issues, because it is a straightaway referral to a psychologist. So
Absolutely.
it's really important that we use the discovery call to gauge the mental state of the client, and also allow the client to gauge you as well, to allow them to examine you, question you on the tools you use, question you on the skills, and make sure that they're comfortable. And after probably giving out the 30 minutes, it is after that I'd really like to talk about the packages. But again, there is this issue with the pandemic where people have lost jobs. There is financial difficulty for everyone. So how do you deal with those type of clients who come to you and seek your services for a reduced rate, citing these issues? So how do you really explain to them why you charge what you charge?
I think a lot of it is, so if someone comes to me and they've lost their job, I just ask them, I've done career coaching, business coaching, and now I'm out of it. And I'm out of it in the way that I'm charging for it. So if a client comes to me, they're working with me, and they're in wanting to know more about life coaching, teaching it themselves, or if they're looking for something in their life, I will work with them a little bit on the business end of it. But if someone comes to me that's lost their job, usually what I'll say is, do you have a resume? Do you have a resume? Have you actually reached out to certain people? And then what I'll do is I'll try to get them to someone that does resumes. Like you're saying, do a referral, kind of help them move to the right people to help them. I had somebody come in and I was talking to him in 10, 15 minutes. I actually started talking to him about, they need a special kind of help. I think that it's way outside of my wheelhouse, but I want to let you know that you should call. It was a suicide hotline. And I said, just, talk with those people. They're going to be able to help you out. What you're looking for from me, I'm not going to be able to give you. I will be here for support, but I'm not gauged to do something like this. I think all of us in life can help someone out that is going down that road to a point, but I think it's like you're saying, you got to let it go to someone else. You're asking too, is what would I do? You mean when someone comes to me and says, hey, I want a discount on your services? I have to look at it like this. I have mouths to feed. I have bills to pay, just like everyone else. So I always say this: I give quality service for a quality price. If someone is needing less help, it's not that I'm at a premium that you can't touch me, but there are thousands and thousands upon thousands of amazing people that maybe not get high likes or high comments, but are amazing mentors that they can get at a lower rate. I've just set those standards because I don't like to take someone on and not give them 100% of my time. When that time clicks and it's their time, it's about them. It's about fixing, not managing, some managing, but mainly fixing that problem that they run into. So I'm a person that expects quality pay for quality service. Yeah. And, you wouldn't go to a lawyer and say, hey, I need you to defend me on a case, and go for the cheapest attorney, expecting him to be the best or her the best counsel for you. So,
Rob, that's called a public defender.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
happen to know that a lot of cases you get exactly what you pay for.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. And at the beginning of this, I don't know if you guys did this, but I got so much bad heat from this. Is at the very beginning of COVID, I didn't charge a dime. I just said, hey, look, I came into this thing with a lot of business knowledge, a lot of life knowledge, and I started helping people. And I had made a uh, post, and I said, if you can give free help, please do. And I got the biggest hate mail in my direct message. You guys would not believe, but hey, you know what? Those people are probably still making good money, and they did what they expected to do for that time, and I did what I did. So
Yeah.
absolutely.
Those are valid points that you've stated, because even as coaches, we have families to feed, and most of us have a team around us who are helping in different aspects about a coaching business. So you have to pay them as well. So it only makes sense that we do not compromise on quality, because, as I always tell in my podcast, we coaches are expert generalists. So we can literally coach on any domain, because one key skill that we believe in, or I call it as a foundation principle, is you have the answers within yourself. So you will have every reason to find the answers. The only issue is that you lack the awareness to do so. And bringing in that awareness is not a small thing. So that is where the real value of a coach lies. And it is only right that we charge what we charge, because we are giving in that service. So those are valid points, which then easily translates to my next question, which is, do you select a particular niche? Because I know you have donned various hats. You've been a career coach, you've been a business coach, now you're a mentor to coaches. So is there a way to select a niche, or should you mandatorily have a niche to be successful in the coaching business?
that's a great question. So my title has always been life and career coach, and I did business, but business coaching is very dangerous. You really need to know what you're doing. I mean, really need to know what you're doing. You have to break down different parts, different aspects of the business in order to do the right things to make the business run right. And so I came in as a life coach and a career coach because some of the businesses I just don't want to touch. I didn't want to have didn't want to have anything to do with them. And there's certain reasons behind it. Knowledge being one. I have, like I said, I have a pile of education, but that doesn't always convert right down the line. Life, I think, is a lot. People say it's really complex, but I don't think it's as complex as people make it out to be. So recently I dropped my, first I should say, the reason I dropped career coaching off of my header is because there are amazing career coaches out there. I mean, some of the best people to put people back online. And I needed to create that niche for myself. I needed to say, do I want all of the people from this, or do I want all the people from this? Life coaching gives me a fulfillment like nothing else. Business coaching, it's great to see people be able to provide for their families and have their business get bigger. But I didn't want to go down that road because I wanted fulfillment for myself. Kelly Sharkey and I do very, very well for ourselves, always have. And so we're at a point now where we're able to pick and choose what we decide to do. The life coaching training to teach people to be life coaches, taking somebody from no idea about life coaching to being a fabulous, I'll pat myself back, being a fabulous life coach when they're done with me. I put a passion into that. And if I have people that come to me and say, hey, I need life coaching, I will be more than happy to work with them. But my niche, if I really narrow down my niche, is I want to teach people to be the best they can be in their life. If they want to use it into life coaching, I can move it into life coaching. You see what I'm saying? So I don't take, I was hoping that by letting go of the business side of it, it opens up other doors for other people to be able to get those get those people under their belt, because I don't need to be grabbing it all. And there's some people that just grab and change and grab. And I think that's, it doesn't look good either. You know, you got to stay steady. You two have been steady this entire time, Michelle. You have not changed. You've reached out and done different things, but you have not changed in who you are. And one of the big reasons why I wanted to connect with you on CORE is you have not veered off of it. Not saying that it's that there's people that can't be in CORE for that, but you know, we're being really selective on the people that will make it really move and show dedication. And some of the people are amazing, you know. So anyhow.
Absolutely. When you're talking about your niche, I've been told by a lot of other people, coaches who coach coaches, that you need a real specific niche to market, because if you market to everyone, you catch no one.
Exactly.
And that is something that I have struggled a lot with, because like most coaches, I want to help everyone. And I noticed you said you claim to be a life and career coach, which some people think those are very separate. But I think that it's important to let people know that once you start working with a coach, your areas really overlap, and the coach can really help you in all areas of your life, with some exceptions, like you talked about the business. In that case, you really need to know how a business works to be able to coach effectively. But generally, when you go to a coach, you go for one reason, but you actually might get more benefit for something else, right?
Right. Yeah. And you have, I tell people this right off the bat. Once we agree, yep, I think I'll be a good fit for you. You'll be a good fit for me. Mm-hmm. I tell them right off the bat, you are not going to like some of the stuff I tell you. I'm going to make you mad. But if you want to improve yourself, you have to, you literally have to go stick your face in that part of you that you don't want to deal with. And so life and career coach, I tried to keep them completely separate, but they kept molding into each other.
Yeah.
The business and career side needs to be separated out. You need to have that as a separate entity. Yes, they mesh together, but in my eyes, they are a separate entity, in the idea that if someone's looking to find a job, yes, you touch a little bit on career, on your life, but your career is very, very important. So you're going to need, like I said, you're going to need resume writers. You're going to need people that put you out there in the right. And so I completely agree with you, though. It does mesh together. I've had people that were, I mean, they came on with their three-piece suits and, you know, the perfect world behind them, and, you know, talked about their houses and their cars and all that stuff. And 2-3 hours into it, they were losing their mind. They were crying. They were upset. They didn't realize that what's holding them back in their business is them, their employees, their leadership. It was just being done wrong, and it was being done wrong because it's in their hands and they were doing it wrong. So yeah, it does mesh together. And like I said, if I come across somebody that does need business help, I have a short list. If someone needs career help, I have a short list. And those short lists are basically what we want CORE to become. CORE Mentors Association. We want that to be the spot that if someone has suicidal thoughts, we're connecting with suicide.org. We're working with them right now. If someone has domestic violence that's going on in their house, we're working with 2 domestic violence organizations. We're working with people that help people that are suffering in writing letters to those people that are suffering. We're working with all kinds of people that bring in everything we can possibly bring in. We did stay away from finance because our attorneys that help us build this thing said we probably want to stay away from that, because if someone sues somebody for losing $500,000, $1 million, or, you know, money in the stock market, they're going to start probing around for who to sue. And so we kind of wanted to stay away from that. We want to keep this as pure as possible.
Yeah, well said. It really makes sense. with the selection of niche and the way you explained how co-mentors association works. So coming to your style of coaching, what is the coaching philosophy that you follow, or is there anybody that you look up to whose coaching philosophy readily resonates with you?
Yeah, I was a big Zig Ziglar. I'm not haven't lost it, but I was always a big Zig Ziglar fan. He had a knack for being able to find the problem in the person, in the business, the structure, the people that run it. And so if I had anyone that I followed to start with, would be him. I'll tell you a quick story. When I came on to LinkedIn, almost now, 8 months ago, I saw this big hole that all these people were getting all these huge numbers, but the stuff they were saying didn't really seem like it connected with their audience. Even the comments didn't connect. So me being who I am, and having the background in forensics, I started tearing that apart. And I started seeing that there was a great need. My words weren't getting out because I was new, but there was a great need for people that were lost, that were just looking for a little bit of hope in what is going on in COVID, what is going on in life. All these people are becoming unemployed. And so I sat down and I just developed, out of all of my experiences, I developed my own way of coaching. So I've never really had, I went since when I was a little kid, when I had all the worst things in the world that can happen to a little kid happen. Every since then, I have built throughout my life, I've built this way to be able to work with people, to be able to open a person up. And again, I'm a ground floor mentor, if you want to call me that. And I don't like all your stuff. I want to know about you. So I created this thing that I do around you, around who you really are. No clothes, no hair, no makeup, no nothing. I don't care about anything about your life other than who you really are. And so I developed my own thing to fit that, and it worked very well.
Awesome. I have a question. So you're talking about getting to know the person for who they are. And we know in coaching, a lot of times coaches will use tools. Are there any assessments or anything like that that you utilize in your coaching that you're willing to share?
So here I'll put it to you this way. As I'm watching you guys, my brain, I don't know why it does it, but I pick up on your eye movements, your face, your way your head moves. It's just how I am. One of my past jobs, it was very important to have the details be exact, have nothing but the exact details, because what I used to do is one of the things is I'd go recover bodies that had gone underwater, or evidence that had gone underwater. And so one of the things that I really pick up on is when someone's telling me it's over there, but they're looking over there, or their eyes are closed. I would look for those things. Well, when I work with people, and I'm trying to find out, what I'll do is I'll say something, I'll look for the reaction, and then later on in that same conversation, I'll say something that's related to it and look at the reaction. And in those two, I try to put those together, or two or three. I try to take the mean of them, and I put it together, and then I'll go after that subject a little bit. Because if I ask you guys about your parents, your eyes and your face are going to do a certain thing. You're either going to smile, you're going to sit back, you're going to have something that's going to indicate to me that there's a problem with your parents. So I'll talk about other things. I'll hit on your parents a little bit. And eventually what happens is I can start combining those things together, and I can find out exactly what's bothering you. So it's not your business. It's not your wife or your husband. It's not your dog just ripped up your door. None of that kind of stuff. I can really narrow it down to. So you keep going back to your parents. What happened when you were younger? It's none of my business, but that's what we got to work on. That's the thing that's holding you back. And so I don't want to say it's different, but a lot of people, you have cookie cutter type things. I got to ask this happens, this happens, this happens. I can sit here and I could lie to you straight through my teeth. I tell you, I do this, I do this, and I know not to move my face. But when you're talking to somebody, if you don't tell them that, they start reacting. And when they start reacting, you don't even have to say anything. If I ask you a question and you react a certain way in your face, I can almost write that down and say, this is what they believe about that. So it's judging somebody. Yes, absolutely. 100% judging somebody. You're judging them off of your movements. Well, you can see fear really get in people that way too. So
And
That's
that
right.
is a very interesting combination to have. But my only, I would say, doubt would be how would you be able to do that if the client chooses to go off video? Because it's a very great tool to use when you have the visual in front of you. But most of my clients prefer to do it in a off video, especially when it is executive coaching. So I just really hear their voices, which is why I keep telling that active and intuitive listening is one of the key skills for a coach. And if you're able to really gauge their eye movements or face movements or their body reactions, I guess you would be very much inclined to listen to the voices, the energy changes, the modulations, and pick up some key things as well. So could you just touch upon that and
yeah,
explain if
absolutely. I have had one client actually that didn't want to do Zoom calls. I'm a person that, like I said, I'm a person that has to listen to details. What you write. So let's say we're vetting someone for. I'm going to go back to core for a second. We're going to vet somebody for core because we vet every person that goes in the core. What we do is I look at their post. And I'll answer your question about the voice, but I look at their there's three of us. We look at their post. We look at what they comment in their post and outside their post. If those three things have the same feeling and the same structure to them, we start saying, okay, these people are real. And then we take that, we start researching their business a little bit. We start researching everything we can about that person. Because there's people that have been on LinkedIn that have been amazing people. And then all of a sudden they're going into people's direct messages and putting some bad stuff. So we watch that stuff very closely. Kelly Sharkey, she does the same thing I do. She also can work with somebody on a ground floor, but she does it in a different way. And she's very good at catching voices, as you're saying. She's very good at catching that. But when I'm having a conversation with somebody, if you go silent, if I ask a question and you go silent, that there can be two things that's happening. One, you don't want to talk about it, or two, you're thinking deeply about it. So I'll ask. I'll give a little bit of pause and I'll ask, is this something that's connecting with you, or are you just thinking about something? Where are you at with this? And so I think that as a life coach, if I have you standing in front of me, if I have you on the phone, if you're writing something to me, to be a good life coach, you got to be able to network all of those things. It's got to be something that's on the tip of your tongue constantly that you're following. I can adjust to this and I can adjust to this. And by the way, guys, I'm not a pro. I'm human, and I'm figuring out every day. I'm a student of life, as I always used to put it. Now I don't have any room for it, but I'm always a student of life. So as we are talking right now, in my mind, I'm picking up things that I'm learning about you guys. And that's, you just got to be in tune with all of that. Have to have that in your head constantly. I'm in tune with what's going on around me. And yes, voices, absolutely. You can't, if you close your eyes, you can't do anything other than listen to someone's voice. So I applaud you for being very good at catching what someone says. And I guarantee you're amazing at it, because you don't seem like a person that would say that you're good at something and not be. So
definitely. So, from what I hear you say, two key skills stand out from what you just explained. One is clarification, and second is reframing. So, what do you think? How important are these skills for a coach to develop, which will ultimately lead to the point that they're looking for, or probably help the client find that answer which lies within them and it brings to the forefront? So, what do you think about these two skills, and what other skills are necessary for a coach to be accomplished?
So if you want to look at how to teach a coach to be a good coach, again, you have a valley that you've created, right, in your life, and you've created it. It's yours. It's like no one else's. It's stamped in stone with your name on it. So if I'm working with someone, I have to look at that person is, could someday they go and teach someone else to be a better person? Could they be the life coach? So when I work with someone, I try to work with them not to become a life coach, but to work with all of those skills that they can then be intuitive, be connected to all of the different things that go on. Like you're saying, if you can't hear anymore, different senses, your different senses kick in. If you can't see anymore, different senses kick in. But why would it have to be that you no longer have that skill or have that ability that you start paying attention to those things? There's stuff that happens all the time. You guys know for a fact that you guys, I can guarantee, I will say this, I can almost guarantee when you guys read someone's post, you feel an energy in there.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what it is, if it's a comment, whatever it is, you feel that energy. That's because you're in tune to that energy. You know it's there. You can hear it in their words. And your mind, whether you think it's doing it or not, is picking out different aspects of that comment that you agree with and you disagree with. Those are going into that valley that's in your mind, that's mental, that goes into your mind, and you evaluate those. So when I'm working with someone, what I do is I try to have them connect with those skills. They're there, they're theirs. Everyone has them, but I just try to have them connect with those. And some of the best people that I've worked with, and when I say best people that have come in that I almost want to say they're polished almost to perfection, but I hit on a couple things, it all of a sudden it changes. They realize, hey, you know what? I wasn't connected with this part. I need to be connected with this part. There's so many things. When someone says, oh, I got it down to a science, I got to see you walk on water, because no one has it down to a science. There is no perfect person. I don't care if they're standing on a stage in front of 1 million people or they're sitting on their couch. There's no perfect person when it comes to knowing everything. It just doesn't exist. Did I answer the question? I don't know if I kind of went way off either.
And that was some great points that you mentioned about the way a coach can progress, and definitely the skills are, it depends on the client that we coach or the coach that we would like to coach, and certainly, as you rightly said, picking out the best in them and trying to figure out what they need to improve on will certainly help us in probably teaching them the right things to do. And it comes with experience as well. Certain things cannot just be taught straight away. You pick it up as you experience coaching, as you go through coaching on your own, because I think Michelle and we keep talking about how a coach also needs a coach. So there is every chance that we develop, we grow. We are also constantly learning. So being a lifelong learner is definitely should be on the top for any aspiring coach. With that, I just like to ask, what advice do you have to give to new age coaches that have started new, that have just set up their business and are looking out to get new clients? So what would be your advice for them?
One of the things is keep it simple. Like if someone, let's say, are you saying for the feel for LinkedIn? Is that what you would be saying?
It can be in general, just for new age coaches where they've just come up from either corporate background with no prior experience of coaching, or people like me who just started my very first job in engineering, but I found out coaching was my call, my life purpose. So I directly shifted my focus on coaching. So what would your advice be for coaches who started new, especially those who started after the pandemic?
with so many people coming in as coaches, they're everywhere. And you know, I love people in general. I think that one of the best things to do is read. I think it's very important. Like I'm a big Zig Ziglar fan, but I'm not a huge reader. I don't read a lot. I like to, when I say read a lot, I don't like to take a book from start to finish. I'm just not that person. I've done it, but I can almost count on my hands and toes how many books that I have been completely gone from front to back and went, wow, this is awesome. I think it's best to, for someone new, is to find all of the things that in the library in the world. Try to find as many things that connect with those things, and then take what they know, write it down on paper that connects with those things. If they find that what they're learning in books and from people doesn't connect, and they keep having this weird feeling that that's not quite right, then it might not be the avenue to go down. If it's not connecting, you will start connecting with that stuff. I just think that it takes a certain breed to be a good life coach. I think anyone can be a life coach, but it takes a certain breed, a certain type of thinking. And that thinking needs to be like myself. If I have something, I actually enjoy the feeling I get from fear. Like coming onto this, my heart rate isn't up. I'm not wound up at all. You know, I'm not having a hard time talking. I may, you know, some people say I talk too much, but I'm not having a hard time talking is because I don't have fear. I look at fear as curiosity. So if you have a life coach idea or a career goal that you want to become a life coach, you've got to get control of fear. You've got to say, hey, I want to learn this stuff. You start learning from other people. Don't have I'm the best person out there. I've watched younger people and I've watched older people that's come on, even to LinkedIn, and they've come on with this, I'm the best. You're not the best. When you want to become a life coach, you have to understand that you're the best at you. So you're able to teach people about your experiences, but other people's experiences, try to stay away from those. Those aren't yours. Your life experiences are your knowledge. You have that. It's ingrained in you. You've been there. You've experienced it. And for a new life coach, they need to use that. And I'm not saying something traumatic has to happen in their life, or, you know, big, huge failures in their lives, but you may only fit a certain amount of you can only use a certain amount of your experience versus the experience that someone's bringing to you of their failure they want you to work on. Does that make sense? So if someone has a problem and it's way outside your, I keep calling it wheelhouse because way outside your abilities, you really need to back off and say, okay, I'm not at this point yet. You have to take on the things you only can adjust to. Too many people try to take on all this stuff. But if a new life coach comes to me and says, I don't know, I want to learn how to be a life coach. We have to take the things that's in their valley in their life and say, this is the type of life coaching you're able to do. If it's only learning a bicycle, that's what you can teach somebody to do. Stay with teaching about a bicycle until you learn more things.
Absolutely. So, if you're an aspiring coach, I'd highly suggest you watch the replay because there were a lot of golden nuggets that were shared, which really holds true irrespective of any niche or any coaching needs that you cater to. So, please do go ahead and listen to the replay to make a note of all those golden nuggets. I think we have a question from Judith. She asks, what's your dream professionally?
Professionally, I could tell you my life one all day, but professionally would be I think CORE, the Core Mentors Association. If I really wrapped it around it, I want, you know, if I die tomorrow, I want this legacy to move on, to actually help people. If it's a career, I would say I'm just going to say, what I do, teaching people how to be better in their lives. I can't say that I want to try anything else. This is what I was meant to do. So
That's awesome. What would you like to add, Michelle?
Well, for me, it's going to sound like I'm stealing Rob's answer, but that's that's really what I want to do. I want to help people be the best person they can be, to find and live their purpose. I think there's so much to be gained when you're actually able to live what you love and what you were made for. And it makes me feel, just gives me the warm and fuzzies when I can help someone reach that. That is my dream. Besides, financial independence, freedom of time, but helping people, absolutely. Shreyas, what about you?
I was going to say, are you going to tell us too? I want to know.
So professionally, I'm still hoping I'd follow my engineering passion. Because of the pandemic, I just had to put a full stop to my dreams in Germany and pick up coaching, because that was my alternate passion. And the pandemic gave me the right time to rethink my strategies. So I set up my business, and fortunately, by the grace of God, it's going good. And so professionally, it would be automotive engineering. I love cars, and I love designing new cars, ensuring that it is safe for passengers, and they get to enjoy. Uh, Otherwise, it is coaching, as both of you shared. It is my underlying passion, which has just come to the fore because of the pandemic, and listening to people like you and starting out as a coachee to Michelle. I think that is one of the probably life-changing moments that I've ever had. Uh, After getting coached by her, that is when I started to really think of being a coach. So it would just be the two of them. So if the pandemic subsides and all goes well, I might end up doing both the roles. So I'll be doing full-time automotive engineering job and concentrating on my business during the evenings and weekends. And yeah, that would be my plans for the future as well, which is the next question that Viraj has asked. What is your future plan?
Mine? Oh,
All of us, I guess.
if it's all of us or not. I would say my future plan. I'm in it right now. I want myself and Kelly Sharkey. We want CORE to become the world's largest mentoring association. There's one that has 40,000 people in it. That it's a dump for memberships, and our passion now is to make CORE the largest mentoring association in the world by keeping it moving. It's going to be constantly moving in the inside. There is no hierarchy that doesn't intertwine with the people that are in the memberships. So my biggest goal to move forward is just to make it the largest in the world, as in a beacon for people to come to that need help in any aspect. They'll just connecting people to the right help. COVID absolutely. I just read an article that said it's going to be a multi-billion-dollar industry to try to help the people from COVID. And as you guys all saw, look at where we ended up. You said you wanted to be an engineer. We went from having all these other jobs and having all these other things to nothing. And what did we have? We had us, just our being. And so if I can connect all of these people to that inner self, then that would be my goal. That's mine.
That's a well thought of plan. What about you, Michelle?
My plan for the future is to build my business and help as many people find and live their purpose as possible.
You're doing
awesome. Absolutely.
Shreyas?
What's my future plan? Well, one is to develop my coaching business and align with my vision, which is to raise the consciousness of this world one person at a time, which is what I learned at iTech, which is a great course that I did, and to stay tuned to the foundation principles that I've thought holds true to me. And second is to gain experience of both worlds. So try to make justice for my studies as an automotive engineer, get put in some few years of service so that everyone stays happy, my parents obviously. And yeah, so just have a plan to balance both these worlds simultaneously and try to stay true to my values. So that is my future plan.
Very cool.
And Judith asked, what's my favorite car? Well, just in case my prospective employer is listening, I'll just go ahead and say it's a Mercedes. So S-Class would be my favorite. Otherwise, there are other options.
Career thing there. I love it.
Yeah, I don't know if my prospective employer might be listening, but just to be safe, because I work for Daimler, so I will go ahead and say Mercedes S-Class would be my favorite car for the moment. So, any other thoughts from you, Michelle, that you'd like to ask Rob?
I think Rob has shared so much with us, and I'm so happy that he was able to get on with us. We're able to have this conversation and learn so much more and listen to everything he shared. I could probably just have some casual conversations for another couple of hours, but we all have stuff to do.
I would absolutely love it. Like I said, my door's open. So if you're coming up this way, absolutely. We'd love to see you.
You know, my plans are to do that. So
yeah.
I will definitely hit you guys up when we get out there. But is there, I think, anything that you, Rob, would like to leave all the participants, listeners, and our audience with today?
The biggest thing I think is that just be real. Just don't hide behind what you're. If you have something as in fear holding you back, turn it into curiosity. Start walking around the other side of it and see what is creating that fear. Be yourself, because you don't know, tomorrow could be it. If you're not living your life, you may lose it tomorrow. So not having that kind of mindset, you're wasting something that's been given to you. So experience it. Be excited about life. Yeah, there's bad things going to happen, but you know what? It happens all the time. But same with good stuff. And the only way good stuff happens is when you start experiencing life.
Absolutely. So what are your final thoughts, Michelle, before we end our episode? I'd like to know your parting thoughts.
Well, I think we've learned a lot today, a lot about coaching and a lot about Rob, and he let the cat out of the bag, who our next live guest will be. In case anybody missed it. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. So next week, you stay tuned, same time, same places, will be Kelly Sharkey, wife and partner for Rob Sharkey. And it'll be exciting to follow up and hear what Kelly's been up to and her perspectives. And maybe she'll share some other secrets about Rob. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm an open book. If anyone ever wants to ask me anything, I'm an open book forever. You guys, I really appreciate you guys having me on. This has been awesome. And one day, I hope to really see you guys on a real stage. I think it would be amazing to have you guys in front of thousands of people making the decisions on bettering themselves in their lives, and you guys be up there telling them this is the way you need to do it. So I look forward to that day. It will happen.
Thank you very much. And it's a pleasure that we got to host you as our very first live guest for the podcast. And it's given us a great opportunity to learn more about coaching, to learn more about you as a person and as a coach, and wish you all the best for your venture, Core Mentors Association. So one final question, how can people reach out to you?
Core Mentors Association has a business page. They can come on it. And then also you can reach me right now through LinkedIn. You can reach me through my direct message. The association is its own entity. So if you would like to become a member of Core Mentors Association, don't hesitate to go on to the website and take a look, see what you think about it. It's doing nothing but growing. We're vetting a serious amount of people right now to become members. So anyhow, I really appreciate it. And thank you so much again for having me on. And I would love to do this again with you guys someday.
Absolutely. And thank you for sharing all about you and all about Co-Mentors Association. So to our listeners, please do reach out to Rob if you need any help whatsoever in whichever field that you feel stuck. He's always ready to help you. And this is episode 11 of Get Set to Thrive. Please do go ahead and listen to the replay. It will also be put in on our podcast RSS feed on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Radio Public. Please do leave your comments, feedback, and any message that you'd like to share. We will be happy to go through and feature your question in our next live episode. Thank you and stay tuned. Until then, take care. Have a great day, afternoon, or evening.
See you later. Goodbye.
Get set to thrive.